All right, gold predictions for the week of January 4th to January 9th. All right, we'll look at what happened last week. Last week I had said that I wasn't looking to take any longs. I wanted to see a retracement and then go long. See if we have anything mapped out here. Just because we were at all-time highs. We even marked out on the week and on the day some areas of support that price might reject into. We really want to see the buy side liquidity get swept. And you can see right here what happened when the week started. We took out this sell side liquidity, and then we just dropped. So if we look on the day, pretty simple shit right here. Price is going up, it retraces, we go up, and then we're coming right back down. So what do you think is going to happen when we get here? Two things. We're going to go up, or we're going to come down and try our next area. Then if it does come down to this next area, either two things are going to happen. We're either going to respect it, go higher, or we're going to switch and we're going to start going down. Really simple stuff here. All right, let's look at the week. Okay, we'll start on the week here. First thing, we're starting on the week here. First thing we're seeing is price is clearly moving up. The direction is clearly chosen. This is rudimentary basics right here. Bam, bam. That's option one, or option two, option three. Only things that we're looking for on the week. Now, obviously, we're looking to trade within the next week, so we're going to be only looking at two scenarios. If price decides to reject off this, or if price decides to come down lower for the next one. So if we switch to the day here, let's map out some liquidity. I'm going to keep these zones here just because I think they're really good. You can see prices already came down and started to reject a little bit. Here's one thing that is really, really important when looking at like higher time frame market structure. If we have price going like this, up, down, the easiest way to tell if price is going to reject off of a zone, for example, right here, is the size of the candles. If you see the candles start to die off, so if we're seeing price come down like this, big down candle, then it goes up a little bit, big down candle, then it goes up a little bit, smaller down candle, then it goes up. Like if the size of the candles start to die off, that's a great indication that momentum is starting to die off. Like if we look right here, as we approach this zone right here, just take a look at the size of the candles. Big candle, dies off. You could go up a little bit, big candle, small candle, big candle in the opposite direction. Like that's a great indication that the momentum is starting to slow off. Even if you look right here, like if we were to consider this an area of resistance, like look what happens when price goes up. We see momentum build up, big candle, big candle, small body, big wick. Still a lot of momentum going up because price shot all the way up from here to here. But then you start to see that the candles die off, so do the wicks. Small, 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 small. Like we can even map out the size of these candles right here. All right, and then we'll move this. Put it at the next candle right here. Whole candle fits inside of it. Next candle. Like they all just fit perfectly inside this one candle right here. Even maybe the one below it. All right, maybe not. But they're all fitting inside there, which is just a great indication that momentum is just starting to die off. So as we approach our support right here, we have big candle, small candle, kind of bigger candle, big wick though, right? Like when you look at we'll do a quick example of what candles here. So if we have bullish candle like this, price opens Price opens here. What this candle is pretty much telling you, because you gotta remember what the candles are telling you, is telling you, are people buying or selling? Are prices being filled higher or lower than what they're worth? So if this is a big candle right, if this is our candle right here, it means that the buyers are so much more dominant than the sellers. The only selling momentum we had right here was this tiny little move down. Other than that, buyers were controlling it. Opposed to when you see a candle like this, what does that mean? That means that we have hit a place where the sellers are become more dominant. We have buyers shoot the price up, but then sellers come back in and move the price all the way back down. It means that at this area right here, there's almost as much buyers as there is sellers because price rallied up and then got shot down just as quickly. Opposed to this, where there's not as many sellers in the market because look, price was able to come back up here and stay at this zone. So if you look at like when you see a big candle like this, price continues to push up. Right? There's more buyers than there are sellers. Sellers are not pushing the market down at all. Look, big full candle, big full candle, big full candle. When you see something like this, where you see price come back down, huge long wick, look what the next candle is. It's bullish, not a very big bullish candle, but it's still an indication that momentum is starting to die off. And then what happens later on? Well, we're getting to this zone where there's buyers are starting to fight back a little bit. We're not at the zone or else we would have gone back up, but when price comes down lower, what happens? The buyers kick in and start to move. Same indication where if we were to do something like, let me find a good example here. All right, look right here. If we look right here, price is rallying up. Boom, 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 boom. Big candle, big candle, big candle. You see how as we get higher, the wicks get a little bigger? Look, bigger wick, bigger wick. We retrace, get some more momentum. But when we come back up here, bam, that's a clear indication that this zone right here, the buyers are starting to kick in. Now, it wasn't enough. I mean, the sellers are starting to kick in. Now, it wasn't enough sellers to push the price down the opposite direction. But look what happens when we get higher. We get to that point, it is enough to push them down. We can retest, retest, retest. And same at the bottom side. Look, we start to see these big, longer wicks on these bearish candles. That means that the buyers, this is the area where the buyers are. That's the beautiful thing about looking where the wicks are, is it's a great indication of where buyers and sellers are active. So if we're looking at this chart right here on the day, and we see bearish, bullish, bearish, bearish, and then bullish, like we can, I bet if we go down to the hour, we can see, well, first off, we're in this fair value gap. Right? See all this big bearish momentum right here, where these had these big open candles leaving back a fair value gap. When we go back to the day, we can see that's where the sellers are active. And look on the day. Look, we see these every time it comes back in here, wick, wick. Same thing if we go down to the hour and we look over here. Look what happens again. We found this fair value gap. Right? Because fair value gaps are great. A fair value gap is just a candle where there's a lot of either buyers or sellers. Like look at this this is a fair value gap because it's just buyer, buyer, buyer. Then it starts to die off a little bit, right? So when price rejects off of a fair value gap, it's come into a clear area where there's more buyers than there are sellers. Same right here, we have seller, 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 seller. So when price rejects into the zone where we had a lot of selling momentum, what's price probably going to do? It's going to start to reject off that. So we're in this zone right now where there's these two fair value gaps. Look right here, even then, look, there's a lot of buyers in this momentum, in this area right here, because that's what a fair value gap is. What happens when price rejects? We go all the way up, we come back down to this area where there's a lot of buyers. What does price do? It wicks, and then it turns around. And from that zone, we don't see anything else. I feel like I'm not saying things right here. So when we go look at the day, it's clear that gold has retraced down into this zone where we're either going to, it's really just, we're in consolidation right now. So we're going to see if price is going to go up or down. We've started to kind of, so if let's actually go to the day and we'll mark out the liquidity. We'll go down to the hour and validate these. Yeah, so we have two areas of liquidity right here with big fair value gaps above them and below them. So same thing as last week. We're going to either see price. Remember last week we had this kind of momentum was starting to die off a little bit, and then we kind of had these two areas of liquidity where it was either going to come down, sweep some of this liquidity to then push up. Remember I was saying I'd only be taking a long if we came down to take out some major areas of liquidity, or price was going to come up, take out this sell side liquidity, and then shoot down. We had two areas right here, and what did price do right at the beginning of the week? Friday, Sunday. Look, Sunday open. Price shoots up, takes out liquidity, and then we start moving down. Very, very simple things. We were at a high. We didn't know we were at a high, but price had made a new high. We were either looking for it to make a new low to trade up, or we were just going to trade the low down. So if we're right here, we're going to be looking for one of two things. We're either going to see price retrace a little bit, push down, because we do have a fair value gap right here. Remember, look right here, this swept this liquidity right here. We had some liquidity right here, failed attempts. Price comes up, takes it out, and goes down, but we don't go all the way down because we never take out this major area of liquidity right up here. So price is either going to retrace a little bit to try and come back down and at least take out this level, maybe this level. If we come down to this level, we're probably going to just, I'd consider that rejecting off this zone, or price is going to come all the way up here to then go down, because we do have a lot of liquidity sitting underneath here. And if we look above, the only other real areas of liquidity would be this and this, and at that point I just assume that we've done our full retracement and are starting to move back up again. I think we'll be going down before we go up. I think price is going to move. I think we'll see this to then go up, or I think we'll just see this to go up. That's what I'm going to be looking for, and then I'm going to be taking very, very, very bullish trades, right? Because we're so close to this area right here. We could even probably go down to the 4-hour and find a rejection area, right? Like price is just clearly rejecting off of this zone right here. So I'm looking for some sort of liquidity to be swept, ideally major liquidity like this right here. But even this is valid to me. Even if I just see this, this is valid to me. Then I'm looking for break. Like if this happens, I'd consider this my break of structure. On a smaller time frame, of course, like we go into the 15 or something like that. I'd consider that my break of structure, and then I would probably wait for a retracement. I'd probably set take profit here, 1, 2, and then I'd probably do a long one for 3 right here. And that could be the same thing that we could see this. So it could come down again, take out even more liquidity. This would be the ideal trade. You see this? You see a break of structure on the 15-minute or maybe the hour, like that. Like that's a beautiful trade, and you're hitting big, big risk rewards for that. Like even if we just set it up here on the theoretical, well, you're hitting a 3x, right? And you could even set your take profit to like the other spot. Like this is a great buying opportunity right here, but don't rush the buy. You gotta wait and be patient a little bit. Just see how it plays out. So that's gonna be my prediction for the week. Like we're looking for sweep, break a structure to then go to the upside. But I need to see a higher time frame break of structure. So I'm looking for 15 minimum before I start targeting any of this like all-time highs.